And we are... Fuck, wrong button. I can't fucking do anything correctly today. Start recording. Come on. Record. All right, I think we're recording.
Yeah.
We're probably recording, whatever. So, yeah, you're someone I met online, and we were talking about kind of the bullshit of YouTube and how there's BitChute and Rumble, which I upload the podcast to, but I don't admittedly really use. Actually, I have gone to BitChute before to find like Alex Jones shit because, I mean, there's no way to dance around it now. YouTube's gone full 1984. This channel any day now, I imagine, will be wiped because you're not allowed to talk about election fraud anymore because they say it's right, and thank God for our digital overlords. But fuck them and fuck their families. So let's we were talking about starting a video platform, and by we I mean it's an idea that I have that isn't by no means unique to me. But you commented, you were on the Donald.win, and you were like, kind of have some experience with this, and you and I both admittedly have no idea where this is going, but figured fuck it, might as well push the snowball and see if it just starts accumulating weight, and who knows. So why don't you introduce yourself, man?
Well, first, I really appreciate you having me on here. And my name is William. I'm a web developer for professionally for about over 10 years. I started doing programming when I was in high school, and that snowballed into several things, I guess. Went into a little bit more. It started with Quick Basic, went into Visual Basic and other languages, and I did a little bit of HTML stuff back
Sure.
then, and I went to college for something entirely different, 3D modeling and animation, which by the end of it, my uncle asked me to do a couple web jobs, and I went, heck yeah, I need a little bit of money, and so that kind of snowballed into doing, doing it professionally.
Yeah.
I tried to start a business. That didn't really go anywhere, but little bit by little bit, I worked for different companies and
Sure.
worked my way up into everything from working for UNC at Chapel Hill to Go Fish Digital and other companies that are really cool.
Yeah.
Pace Communications um, and worked for Fortune 500 companies doing front ends, and I did a lot of back end work before that ever happened, and ended up getting Laravel certified, and then we just the last couple of years. I'm from a police officer family. My dad was an officer. My grandfather was an officer. My uncle, and I thought I was going to do the same thing, but things happened and it
Yeah.
didn't go that direction. And we were talking about this the last few years. Me watching some people get demonetized, and guys like Steven Crowder. Who else? I mean, there's all kinds of people. Milo Yiannopoulos and a bunch of other ones that, yeah, Alex Jones. There's a ton of people that got it. Uh,
Got an Alex Jones hoodie on right now.
there you go.
Yeah. Right.
Um,
It's no, it's some 1984 horseshit, and it's obviously been floated before, so that idea is not unique. It's not unique to me. I can't take credit for it. But I was just thinking, I was like, as I see the .win community kind of grow more with shit that I don't even care about, but I mean, just an open platform. Like, I don't. I just hate censorship, and that doesn't mean like I want to build a right wing website. I don't give a fuck, dude. Like, I mean, just let the information flow, and then whatever happens, happens. It's because once it starts, and it always starts the exact same way. Sometimes it takes a month, sometimes it takes a decade. But you start by choosing a pariah, Alex Jones, and you ban him. And if the public takes it, then you can just keep moving the fucking goal lines. And sometimes it takes longer, sometimes it doesn't. But eventually, what you get to is a bunch of neo-Nazi fucks lining families against the wall and blowing their brains out with M1 Grands, right? So that's what's happening. And you don't have to think it goes that way because facts don't give a fuck about your feelings. That's where this shit's going. And more importantly, I just want to be able to talk. I just want to be able to. If election fraud really didn't happen, let me make a fool of myself. Let me lose subscribers, and let the free market of ideas take place. But clearly, that's not how they roll with communism. They don't do it with capital, and they certainly don't do it with ideas. So the point is much like this podcast I started last December 2019. It had been floating around in my mind for a couple of years, and just really I was like, I know how to talk to people, and I know how to like basically not shut up. Sorry, I just spit on my screen. Is like I was like, but what I need to do is I just need to start, and well, where's it gonna go? I don't know. So I just started with a friend, and I was like, hey, just do an episode so I can have episode one. And then I started grabbing other friends, and eventually I just put together like 10 episodes just so I could now say, here, check out the podcast. Then I went on Reddit, and I'd find someone that was like, yeah, hey, I worked on homemade rockets. Cool, grab that guy. You're a guest, and you just kind of snowball it, and then it keeps going and going, and eventually you can kind of grab like a big fish or something, someone with a bigger name. And it took me 50 episodes, several months to get Dale Comstock, who was in Delta Force, right? Got to episode 95, had on Mike Durant, the pilot that was shot down in Mogadishu. The whole movie Black Hawk Down is about. Kept going. I had on Charlie Duke, the 10th man to walk on the moon. And so it keeps going, and now it's kind of building more and more. But the thing is I didn't plan any of this. I just knew that if I took it and I pushed it with an obsessive work ethic and with energy like I am now, just fucking let's go, balls to the wall. If we're gonna do an episode, let's put the throttle forward. It eventually will work, and it starts to build power, and then it starts to break down walls, and it starts slowly like a planet, like a protoplanetary disk coalescing into a big gas giant or a star. Eventually you start pulling shit towards you without even trying. I'm not there yet, but that's the end goal. And I know I'm not letting you talk right now, but
No.
what I want is, so the idea that always gets floated when it's like, hey, how come we don't have a whatever, a wind tube or a freedom tube, whatever, Tom tube, it doesn't matter, will tube. Is there something that you could actually start, like Google started, don't be evil? And it always kind of gets met with the same response. And admittedly, I don't know shit about video or video hosting or anything. So yeah, I have to kind of take all this criticism to heart, but it's like, video hosting costs so much, you need petabytes of storage, you need X, Y, and Z. Sure. But if you had told me last December, if you had asked, you should get a guy on the moon, now how are you going to get that guy? Well, dude, you got to have contacts, you got to have a subscriber base, you got to, yeah. And so what I did is I didn't know how I was going to do it, but it's like crossing the ocean in a canoe. You don't need to know exactly what slip on what beach you're going to park in. Just aim for, are we, right? Are we going west? Okay, let's aim. And as you see land masses, it's, or are we Florida? I thought we wanted to go near Boston. All right, turn a little bit. And then as you get closer, and then you see the city, and then you get closer, and eventually it gets to where, you're holding out the paddle to somebody on the pier, and they're pulling you in, and you tie it to the exact spot. You just kind of got to know where you're going. But when you're going that way, you have to paddle ferociously, and you have to not let anyone. And if you get knocked aside, keep fucking going. So the point of this just crazy person rant is, I don't know you. This is the first time I'm ever talking to you. Is I think if we just start grabbing people that know anything about anything with how to build a YouTube without censorship, I mean, it starts with fucking Wilbur and Orville Wright going, hey, I think we can fly. These jackasses in a paper mache plane, to 67 years later, it's Houston the Eagle has landed. Right? It happens that way. And you don't need to know, you don't need to see the end. You just gotta visualize the feeling and the basic goal. Let's conquer the skies, and you can do that. Get myself amped up here is, so how would we do that? What's the first step? Just brainstorm with me, Will. I'm permabanned from Reddit as of like 10 days ago. I've had accounts on there since 2007. I'm permabanned now, so I'm IP banned. I can't, my phone, my computer. I thought too much wrong think. All right, so I OD'd on wrong think, and they banned me. So fuck those faggots. But what we need to do is just start pushing this in a direction to where that's all I want is to build I don't want to own it. I'm not asking for any fucking value of it. What do we do? Do we post it on the Dawn and say, "Hey, here's me and Will talk"? Do we want to? Does anybody code? Does anybody know anything with web hosting? What's the first steps?
Well, I I appreciate that. I I completely feel your sentiment in the sense that um, I personally haven't been like hugely creating videos and all this other stuff, but I partake of
You can
other
consume it.
people's videos
Yeah.
that, so I'm not on the content side. Mostly I'm on
Doesn't
the,
matter.
the building side. Right. But um, to answer your question, where do we start? Well, I've sort of already started.
Okay.
Our current idea was to get a prototype up, which showed a bunch of videos, junk that doesn't mean anything, but you can add channels, you can add users, you can upload. There's commenting, blah blah blah. A basic prototype to show to an investor, hey, it's there. There's all of these expenses, there's all of these issues that we have to do to make it you know go head to head with Google, and so we're going to have to you know we're going to need X amount of dollars to do this, and that was the plan, to have it up like maybe January, February 2021 as a prototype, and then go beg for money. But if there are people that we know through the Donald or wherever that have the pockets or the desire to be involved in this, we can get their to ready to be used, not just a prototype, but ready to be used much quicker,
Hmm.
and everybody would be sufficiently happy with this. And again, our vision for this is, there's so much to talk about. Um, it, it, we didn't want, so I shared with you earlier on the phone briefly that the name of it that we thought of, and it's not set in stone, obviously, but the thought we had was, PhaserTV. Okay, so we want to have a gun in it, because originally, several years ago, when we started hearing these people being banned or being demonetized over gun related stuff, my dad's a police officer. you know, we've been around that kind of family for many years, since I could grow up. I mean, my dad put the gun on top of the refrigerator all the time when he came home. I mean, this kind of stuff was like, I couldn't imagine we're living in a time where there's an actual company that quote unquote is an American company and is demonetizing people based on the fact that they're talking about their Second Amendment rights, and they're exercising that to discuss guns. I don't care if it's a cannon. I don't care if they're showing you how to build, a rocket ship. This is America. I don't
Yeah, get
understand.
the idea out. Just let the information flow.
I don't get it. I don't understand it. But anyways, we're hearing that. So, and all these people, I mean, they blacklisted Diamond and Silk, two black ladies. The only evil thing they did was support the president, and that was it. I mean, how can people not see that as A, incredibly racist, and B, just, this isn't America.
It's
I mean, that's not what we do.
because it's agreeing with what they agree in. Orange man bad. They don't give a shit.
Right.
It's not going to be until, just like I said, hey man, I don't agree with everything Alex Jones says. I think he's kind of crazy. I love him, but I think he's kind of crazy. The second you ban him, it's all you have to do now is, we've now all agreed socially that that guy can be banned. Well, if you can ban that guy, now you just have to move the ticker. Can you ban someone a little less controversial? Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. Keep pushing it. And that's where we are now.
Yeah.
And it's it's just, that is where we're getting. And by the time it comes to you, by the time you were like, you know what? Hey, I'm not sure if I'm on board with Biden. You might be a lifelong Democrat. Well, all of a sudden, hey, guess what? Welcome to the shit show. If you're right of Mao, you're going to be kicked off, and you're going to be going, what? They're going to say, you're racist. You're going to go, what? And all of a sudden, you're going to realize what the rest of us have been feeling for 4 years. But this isn't a pity party. So
Yeah.
let's establish that. I don't give a fuck if it's about building guns. I don't give a fuck if it's about channels talking about the pros of being transsexual. I don't give a shit.
Exactly.
Just let it flow. Just
Right.
you know, it's if I wanted to go get on some dating app, this is an analogy I use, and everyone said, "You're too ugly, man. You're too stupid. You're crazy. You're not going to get any poon going on that dating app," and you don't let me get on there, all you're doing is making me think that I really got it and you're scared of me going up there. When in reality, if you just let me go on there and strike out, that's the free market. If I go, huh, maybe I should change my attitude if I want to get laid, right? But by taking me away, you are allowing me to create myself into my own martyr. But you're doing that with all these. So now it's kind of like kids growing up and telling them, "Don't you dare smoke weed, or you're gonna be fucking dead in an hour." And then you finally smoke it, and you're like, "Hey, this isn't that bad. I just watched the sunset." Like, this, you know. But now the same people telling you not to smoke weed are also the same ones telling you not to take OxyContin and shoot heroin. And you're going, "Well, fuck, they lied about weed, so what's wrong with these?" But then you actually do die. So where it starts is just, hey, these are the people that are banning pro-gun things. That must mean that they are trying to suppress this good thing that is guns. Well, next thing you know, they're going to be banning every little idea they don't like, and they're all going to think that, well, there's nothing wrong with this idea, but that idea might be neo-Nazism. And it's like, no, let that person go out and talk so that they can get publicly shamed for being a douchebag. But let them be free to be a douchebag. Because if you stop them, you go, no, you can't talk either. Well, they're like, well, they banned conservatives, they banned Diamond and Silk, they banned pro-Trumpers, and now they're banning me because I just want to kill everyone of Jewish descent. So, I must be good too. And it's like, okay, no, that's not good because now that guy's festering. Let him come out and just let him be douchebags online. Let them make a fool of themselves. That's where I'm getting at. So yeah, Phaser TV, I don't give a shit. That's cool. It's just let the information flow because it always ends. Communism always ends. Sometimes it's Chaz or Chop or whatever, and it's only 72 hours long. But it always ends with people dying, shit being stolen, and no one can grow potatoes. That's always how it ends. Sometimes it takes a century, sometimes it takes 3 days. But that's always how it starts, and it's starting right now. And well, it's been starting for a while. The right YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Don't you dare step out of line. It's so I think something new has to be created. And sure, mine's from the content creator viewpoint, but yours is from the consumer. The vast majority of people is from the consumer standpoint.
Right.
So am I. I wanted to watch Alex Jones talk about interdimensional demons on Tim Pool's show, but I couldn't find it on YouTube. I've never watched Tim Pool before. I had to seek out Tim Pool on BitChute and watch that fucking video. But thank God for BitChute. But the point is goddamn, when you ban it, you make it seem like, oh, that's the bee's knees. And then you actually go watch it, you're like, oh, it's just Alex Jones talking about interdimensional lizards. Like, sure, it's fun, but
Yeah.
whatever. Why was it banned? And it's
There's really no reason for this kind of stuff, and other than the fact that
power hungry psychopaths.
that, and he also actually threw in some things that were truthful, like about Hillary Clinton and about all these other things that
Yeah.
actually got really successful online. That's really
Yeah.
why people get
Yeah.
banned,
Yeah, I know.
their success. And so going back to why or how do we do this? One, the code's sort of already started. I've done some of the design work. I never like any design work that I do, and I'd love to have, hire a professional to, also do some more logo work to kind of push it forward and UI design. And then I've got like a whole, several people already in mind that I've worked with that I know are professionals in their field, that are very, very solid, that would love to you know be possibly head to head with,
Mhm.
that kind of a company. I mean, it's huge. And there's a lot of things to think about. There's the salaries, just, to get 6 to 10 employees, um, the kind of salaries that already have that you would have to pay them to, get them professionally on here to create a high level product. There's that. There's marketing and advertising. It's one thing to word of mouth, which I think is where we're going to start, obviously, totally word of mouth, and of our wonderful, website that we go to all the time. Um, I mean, we'll start there, and then there's other you're going to have to eventually advertise it to a broader audience.
Yeah.
And there's ultimately the goal here is to just have a website where they're not censoring people from saying whatever,
Yeah.
political viewpoint they have.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't do criminal activity on
Yeah.
it.
You can't read out the address of someone and say, go kill that person. That's not, can't do that.
Right. And I think, doxing, you just mentioned doxing. I think
Doxing,
that needs to be a zero tolerance.
yeah, doxing, child porn, some
Yeah.
pretty basics that everyone can agree on.
Right. There's definitely that kind of stuff. And I mean, it has to abide by our, in my mind, our country standard of freedom of press, freedom of religion, freedom of, your First Amendment rights. And if it's not breaking the law that, you can be, sued for in court of law and obviously lose or whatnot, then I think it needs to be left alone. It's fair game.
Hmm.
And, I've always, I'm not, I don't feel like I have to silence the other side. I don't think I need to create an algorithm that bumps up my political,
Yeah.
affiliation either, because I truly believe, and that
Free market of
sooner
ideas.
or go ahead.
Sorry, free market of ideas.
Yeah, sooner or later the truth, is the winning idea. And that's the reason why we see the enormous amount of censorship, the um, the suppression of any news. That, I mean, it's unbelievable watching some of the suppression going on about, like you just said, the issue with fraud. I mean, there's a lot of fraud, and it's prevalent everywhere. And um, just the news media is like, no, we're not gonna look at that.
Yeah.
And whether you're Democrat or Republican, I mean, you can't be looking at that, like, honestly looking at the facts and go, yeah, we just, let's not talk about it. I mean, that's a massive problem.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can't legitimately looking at the other side and saying we won when in reality you didn't, and you didn't.
Yeah. And that's what I always bring up is, I mean, I'm admittedly pro Trump, but I'm 30 years old. My first election, I was 18. I voted in Obama. 4 years later, I was pre-med. I didn't want Obamacare, so I voted for Romney. 4 years later, I was into a bunch of peace and love and long hair, so I voted for Bernie in the primaries. 4 years later, I got back in and working hard and build my own thing, so I voted for Trump. But the point is I've never been lockstep in one way.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I say that as, the idea is always floated of, sure, censorship might be great when it's on your side, but wait till it comes back to you, or, but the thing is, I can actually say that I've voted on both sides 2 times. Like, I, it's, if you're looking at this now, like election fraud, which 1,000% happened,
Yeah.
you, you can't look at this and go, well, Orange Man bad, so at least our side won. Because eventually, guess what happens when they get rid of Orange Man? There's gonna be someone else there. They only exist with a pariah. They can't kill it off entirely. Cancel culture only exists. Cancer is, yeah. What's the isn't like what the loose like philosophical definition of cancer? Infinite growth on finite resources. Well, cancel culture is, once you cancel the thing, you got to cancel the next one. You don't cancel Alex Jones and then go, we did it. No, you move on to the next, and to the next, and to the next. And soon it's anyone with any dissenting opinion whatsoever. It's it you can't do that. And it's going to keep pushing. But if I may, what you're saying earlier about got to figure out salaries for people, marketing and advertising, cross that bridge when it gets here.
Sure. No, I understand that.
Yeah.
What we're saying though is like I mean, the first thing obviously is to build it,
Hmm.
and then once it's built, you have to put it into the wild. It has to be, surviving on a platform like that has a compute instance that's connected to an RDBS, and you've got traffic, you've got
I will
resources.
plug it at the beginning of every fucking episode. Use my platform. There you go. There's free marketing, right?
Sure. No. I totally understand that. It's just that when we started, thinking about this, it's like, I mean, imagine putting it on like AWS. Let's say we're using AWS, and that those charges they go up like infinitely if you let it run forever. And I mean, I could be looking at a great month of success and everything, and having some advertising money come in, and then realize, holy crap, I got like $1,000 bill I got to, foot at the end of the month. And I mean, I'm still working on my own salary. So I mean, I'm there with you and just going at it, yourself. Um, but if we're going to go head to head with, some big companies, um, you know, uh, probably at least $2 million in terms of an investment
Sure.
for some people might, might not be that much, and the return on that is going to be massive because they know this kind of stuff. People are livid about YouTube. I
Hmm.
mean, you can take people who are relatively liberal people, and they'll tell you, yeah, Google's horrible. They're evil, and they'll continue to kind of non-smile about all the shenanigans, but
Sure.
they really don't like them. They realize, that there's a problem here, and it's just one of those things where I, I can't do it without I can't
Sure.
do it
No,
without finance.
I get that, but
There's also time. That's another issue I got.
sure,
I work 40 plus hours as it is, and then I have, like, family stuff, and then
I get you.
it gets into this thing where if we're gonna do it, and it ain't gonna be next September or the following January when it actually gets out, but like in the next 3 months or the next 4 months, that's where I'm at. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
I can wait till September. I can wait till January next year, 2022. But do we want to? Is my question.
Yeah, so I look at it as like BitChute, all right? I mean, BitChute and Rumble, those are things that at one point were just this conversation between two people, and now they're up and they're free to use. But BitChute's free to use, but I still donate. I think it's $15 a month, just because I appreciate what they're doing and they show you their costs each month, and there you go. And like that's how they've like funded it so far, and it time, sure. Well, don't put a timeline on it. Don't it's we got to have it out by, maybe it's out in 2023, maybe it's out in 2030. Don't just remove that stipulation, that deadline from your mind. Just get rid of, and it's like right now. It's like, I wasn't like, "Hey Will, I've got an idea, come on my podcast. We're going to flesh this thing out." I was literally like, "Yo, dude, let's shoot the shit and see where this goes, and maybe nothing happens." Like, and that's where we're at right now. But what have we already established? An agreement that we want freedom of information. We know where we could plug it. And hell, I'll do it. Now I have, as of this episode, 1,810 subscribers. Okay, so there's a people that, even if it's 10% people, 180 could hear about it every episode I talk about, and maybe 10% of them go to it. So there's 18 people. There's 18 people you didn't have. But the point is like, let's not, I'm not worried about where am I going to get my next microphone from this podcast. It's, I just, what am I doing today? Today I have two podcasts, Mike Vecchione and Will Beeler. Let's do that. I'm going to make it through today. I got an audiobook I want to listen to. Maybe watch a documentary on aliens. I'm going to play some video games and go to sleep. Fuck the winter. I hate how it gets dark early. I'm not. But the point is, yeah, you got family shit. You got a job. We got to find out a comparable salary. Blah, 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 blah. Today we're doing this.
Yeah,
I'm gonna upload it immediately after. I'm gonna pause the previous upload. I'm gonna upload this one immediately. It's only gonna be in standard definition. It's like 1/20th the size of the file, so it can go up. I'm gonna send it to you, and we're gonna put it on the Donald, and just ask people to comment and to add ideas. Give
yeah.
them our emails. You can make a PhaserTV email, and
I
let's.
already have one.
Okay, there you go. Boom. So let's just get it rolling. And that's what we're doing today. I'm not worried about next September, and I'm not worried about quarter 3 of 2027.
Dude,
Let's
I'm there with you, bro. I'm
yeah.
definitely there.
Yeah, so that's my mindset. And the only reason I say that is because I've watched it work with this podcast. It
Yeah,
took a year, but I watched it work. And
sure.
it's, dude, I went from being a meathead my freshman year of college, really didn't even know how to study, and decided, I was like, what if I just start studying? I'll probably figure out how to get better at studying. And 4 years later, I got into a medical school where 15,000 people applied and 100 got in. The point is retard strength works if you just direct it. So PhaserTV, he got an email, we got an agreement on ideas, and let's throw it out there and see who adds to it. And like we've been talking about, the free market of ideas, if it's a really shitty idea, no one's going to come help. And hey, then good, it deserves to die.
Sure.
If it's worth it, people are going to come in. You never know who's going to walk in just one day and just big dick energy go, here's 100 grand, get it started. That's how that shit happens, man.
Yeah.
That's
No,
how
no. We were talking about this, my father and I and my brother, and they're all involved in this thing too. It's not just
Sure.
me. We were starting to get documents together for people who wanted to have, be a part of the whole thing, like investment wise.
Yeah.
Um, and I mean, $1,000 here or whatever. I mean, you, I can't, quit my job today and then start working tomorrow if you give me $1,000. No, but it pushes the needle towards that goal, which I'm already spending time when I'm not, if there's nothing burning down, I'm writing code. I mean, a few minutes ago, I wrote a few lines of code, tinkered with a few things, and I'm, gradually getting it better. As I sit there at night, sometimes for an hour or two, I'll write some code. So it's not, I don't, it's not like it's not happening. It is. It's just the issue of could it get to market in March or April? And the answer, in my opinion, is absolutely it could.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome if it could. And maybe
Right.
maybe it doesn't. That's
Well, yeah, that we've already crossed that bridge. Like, yeah, if it
yeah,
happens,
yeah.
later, fine. Um, I but if you're listening, anyway, if you're listening, we'd love to get it, as soon as possible. And I think because it helps guys like you, you won't be demonetized. We're not going to put you down at the bottom of the search engines. And there's all kinds of reasons why it would just be beneficial. I mean, I've got a goal to have it on Roku and Fire Stick and all this stuff like very, very quickly. And it's not even just that. I mean, we have a plan. I mentioned those employees. We have a plan for much greater ideas. You know, um, this is just one wing of a company that my dad formed, and and there's a lot of ideas there. I mean, we've talked ad nauseum about some stuff we tried in the past, revamping that and trying it again with a much better way of doing it. And then another thing that we've thought about a lot is, how people say, jokingly to conservatives or people on a different side, um, well, if you don't like Stripe or you don't like them telling you get off their platform, make your own platform. Well, that's there's a lot of those little platforms that can be built and can snowball more of this finance and everything else, and make a much larger, more free company and spread freedom to a lot of other people as well at the same time. And we wouldn't have to worry so much about censorship and, where do I host my, website, that's legal and it's not terrible. It's just not the opinion of the overlords over in Google. And, we would have that platform. And, so there's a lot of ideas there that investment is, yes, it's specifically for that, but as that creates money and wealth, you can create
Yeah.
more companies or more projects that increase the company size, just like Google does
That's
when
what
it
it
does
does. Yeah.
email,
Really
or
good.
it does. Yeah, I mean, you see this huge expansion, and that was fine several years ago. That was nobody worried about that
No, it was dope.
until they started going, nope, and nope, nope.
Yeah. So they started twiddling their mustache, and then it fucking went downhill.
Yeah, it's just insane when you think about some of the stuff that they're pulling. I mean, I read, I did a little research, because you hear stuff, and oh my goodness, it's terrible that these people are being banned. I'm so busy doing my my work. I don't always, get the a full page of news and whatnot. But I read this article about, I think I mentioned Milo getting
Yeah.
kicked off or demonetized for one of his videos. I think he was praying for, um, like two people in Alabama that were killed by an illegal drunk driver. And I guess because of the fact that he mentioned illegals killing Americans or something like that, that was the trigger for Google to demonetize him. And and then I just kept reading, and it keeps getting crazier.
Insane.
Like there's this old gentleman that is one of the kindest guys that I mean I've ever seen, on YouTube. A nice old gentleman that's showing off like a 1917 Army model revolver that was used in the World Wars,
Yeah.
and probably, and I guess they demonetized that video or something like that because he was just showing, how it shot at things,
Yeah.
and whether or not it would get inside the center ring and all that. And I mean, I'm like, man, I gotta get me one of those, and I can't believe they demonetized the guy.
Yeah.
And his name's like Hickok or something, and it's just I just don't want to stand for that. And our family is very, I mean, as you can imagine, police officers that love their country. My grandfather lied about his age. He was 16. Lied, said he was 18, trying to get into world wars to go fight. It ended before he got there, and I mean, he was kicked out of like I think 3 branches of the military because they kept finding out he was lying about it. And I mean, that's the kind of family that I mean, I can't ignore that, and I wouldn't raise my kids in a country that would turn their back on the sacrifices those people made for our First Amendment rights or Second Amendment rights, all these things, and that's what just pisses my family and I off, and that's a lot of the reason why we want to do this, and I'm not putting BitChute or Rumble or I think there was even a MAGA host or whatever. I, I, I'm not putting any of those down, and I think that they're, the more the merrier.
Yeah.
I don't. I think it's great that there's competition. There's all this other stuff, and I mean, our mindset was a little bit more towards making something when you got on there, you went, oh, this is YouTube with a synthwave feel, and it's got, a gun in it, and that was the mentality. I mean, something that you would go, oh man, this is gonna be fun. It's got a little bit of Reddity kind of stuff going on, and um, it's different. It's different from them, but we were hoping to provide a unique, flavor to this, but ultimately the basic idea. And I also wanted, to do some cool stuff like, you connect your YouTube account up to an API on our site, and it looks at all your videos, and you just click move over, and it comes over here, and you just walk away. You got 900 videos. I'll see you in 3 days. It'll be done moving it over. You don't have to do anything.
Yeah, which I can attest to that uploading my entire library to BitChute this past summer
It's not easy.
was a bitch. Rumble is easier. Rumble's a little easier. I do about, but even that, no, I only do the standard definitions. I upload like, probably upload like before I go to bed, I upload like 40 and then just walk away. It takes about 18 hours. But yeah, the point is, yeah, things like that's not BitChute and Rumble are awesome. BitChute's user interface sucks dick, and sometimes you upload a video and then it just doesn't work, so you have to upload it again. So I'll shit on them for that. Rumble so far seems awesome, but one day they could be evil and start censoring, as could PhaserTV. In which case, I hope 2 other jackasses get together and go, let's fucking make Freedom Tube, because that's what it should be. And yeah, let the free market do its thing. And yeah, and set your sights on the horizon. My horizon isn't just this podcast. I plan to change the face of mental health before I die. It's got several decades, and I need to build a bunch of wealth, and I keep my cards close to my chest. But like, same thing. You want to build Phaser TV, but ultimately you might want to be pulling a Google and doing an X Prize on the moon in coordination with DARPA. But yeah, point is yeah, just That would be dope though. Make it easier to transfer your library.
Yeah.
But you I you will have I will upload my library. You will have at least one shitty podcast episode a day. So there you go. You already have there. You got content right there.
Right there. And I was actually, we jokingly talked about the first people we're going to go to are like Alex Jones and a bunch of other
Yeah.
guys. And say, all right, we're here.
Alex
Click
Jones,
this,
Milo, get them. Yep.
just click all over and it'll automatically do all the work. And I don't know, there, those are some of the ideas. And I mean, that takes time to code. And I totally understand, just keep going forward and eventually get there. And I agree with that. I just think if anyone's listening and they've got a lot of money,
Yeah.
it would help.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Dude,
um,
yeah, I did an episode of this podcast in like the 150s, literally called Podcast or Investor's Pitch. And it's me trying to explain why someone should invest in this podcast. And guess
right.
what? It happened. All right. That's why I don't have to work at a liquor store anymore. If you've been watching these episodes, that's why you don't see me going, all right, I got to go because I got to go stock liquor shelves. It happened. It's all private, but it happened.
Awesome.
Better than I ever thought it would.
That's
Sooner
a,
than I ever thought it would. I was hoping it would happen, in less than 5 years, and it happened in 30 days. So the point is yeah, anybody listening, where can they contact? So you got Phaser TV? What is it at Gmail? I hope it's not. I'm switching from Gmail to Proton Mail, right? Because that's what I'm realizing is I'm like if they send. Sorry, side note. That's one thing I was thinking, man. I was like, I know they censor YouTube because I can go on other accounts and try to find my channel and it just won't show up, and I have to find an exact link. And I'm like, well, fuck. How do I not know that like my Gmails aren't being sent when I'm trying to say, hey, so and so, would you like to come on my podcast? So I started using Proton Mail, and I've been getting a lot more people. So now I'm thinking, how many of my emails weren't even being sent? Just shadow banning.
right. Well, the main company website actually has, so, excuse me, it's kind of, there's like a main company and then this is a project underneath it and we're working some things out. But that's all on Proton. But right now I set up something real quickly on something that's not Google, and rhymes with AWS. And it's Will. If you want to send me an email, it's Will, WILL, at phasertv.com, PHASERTV.com.
Okay, Will at Phaser T. I was gonna say yeah, specify Phaser because it could have been FAZER for dipshits like me. But
Actually bought a domain that was phaser, FAZER.TV, and it might actually still be redirecting to the right one. But
good.
that's another thing. That's a whole nother line of expenses that I gotta buy like a bunch of crap so people don't.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, and don't buy it until don't even search for it until you have the money to buy it because by searching for it, people can detect what sites are being searched for. Is there a willtv.com? No, there's not. Well, someone can see that somebody that you queried that and they'll go buy it and price gouge you. But that's neither here nor there. Um, so this is step one coming up on 6 p.m. Well, that wasn't really an hour, close to an hour. No, 45 minutes, whatever. It's so let's wrap this one up, but that's unless did you have anything else you want to say? Well, sorry, what I'm going to get at is you can absolutely let's do another one. Um, but what's step one? Step one is I'll upload this and I'll prioritize it so it'll probably be up within the hour. Let's put it on the Donald. And for anyone that's not banned from Reddit like I am, you can go and fuck Reddit because I built a subreddit called Funner History, FUNNER. I started it, and it's all about like photoshopped like F-16s into World War One and stupid shit, F-35s and in the Civil War. And I got banned from Reddit, but that subreddit's at 21,000 people now, and I know for a fact they get ad revenue from that. Fuck those communist fucks. And but yeah, for anyone on Reddit, go spam it. And Will at phasertv.com, PHASER, correct? Did I say it right? Is it
Yeah.
Z? No,
No.
PHASER TV and FAZER, right?
Well, the FAZER, I'm not entirely sure if I let that go or not, but
Whatever.
the
PHASER.
yeah. And
Yeah.
I was thinking like, maybe 2 months from now, I don't know, what's going to happen in 2 months, but let's say I have some screenshots that I'm not totally hating, or not just screenshots, but I can actually show you something.
Sure.
I'd love to demo that, share my screen and show you what it looks like.
Absolutely, man. Like I said, I will. I don't have 2 pennies to spare, so I'll tell you right now, I can't invest. But what I will do is I'll give you my time. I'll give you. I mean, let's say, fuck it. Let's do like at the beginning of each month. So we'll do one at the beginning of January. How about come on and just you tell me where it's going, what it's doing, show me some progress, and I will happily blast it to any one of my subscribers that listens. And also, if anyone knows how to contribute, and I don't mean necessarily, well, I code in this, and I mean, I'm someone that's technologically retarded. So I mean, if you know how to plug in a Wi-Fi router, or if you know anything, just comment in the comment section or email Will at phasertv.com, PHASER, and just let's get the ball rolling. And hey, man, be part of something. It's fun to be part of something. It's fun being the underdog, right? We're fucking going up against Google, right? Let's fucking let's get some Mighty Ducks vibes in here. Let's go take on these fuckers. And we'll post it on the Donald, and left or right, Democrat or Republican. That's the point of this. Is if you want for there to be a free and uncensored video platform, come join. And if you can't do any of that, but you want to donate, throw some bones. And you should probably set something up for that, like a GoFundMe or something. Or
We gotta figure that out.
yeah, figure it all out. But baby steps. And today's goal was to talk and to flesh some shit out. Clearly, you are far more ahead of this than I am. If you can't tell, I interrupt a lot and I get really jacked up and excited. And you're kind of like the Pence to my Trump. I am a fucking psychopath, and you're much more reserved. So I apologize for that. That's just the passion. And
No, that's exactly what we all need is passion.
yeah,
And
but yeah,
no, but send me an email, and we have, my dad's working on forms. He's already got one ready, and we're, in terms of donations, we can make it happen one way or the other right now. But we're gonna try to set something up. I don't know if it's gonna be buy me a coffee or whatever link, whatever it is. We'll right now, if you go to phasertv.com, there's like a lock on it, so you can't see anything. Assumably very shortly, I want to put something like, hey, sign up for your email, all that kind of stuff. It's coming soon, come back later, whatever, so that, people can stay connected and get connected and even donate or whatnot and have part, some percentage or whatever. We're still figuring some of that stuff out, but we definitely want to, have investors have some ownership of the company and have ownership of what's going on there.
yeah.
So,
Well, fuck yeah, man. Let's get this ball rolling. And at the end of the day, just want something where I can, on one hand, I can go watch AOC give a speech, and then a minute later, I can watch Alex Jones talk about demons crawling out of the Marianas Trench and everything in between.
exactly.
That's all I want. I don't think it's too much to ask.
No, I mean, internet's got to go back to being weird and
The internet's
crazy.
got to go back to the Wild West days.
Exactly.
So fucking walk into this saloon and start shooting people, everybody. That was a metaphor. Don't do that. That's inciting violence, and that's not good. Um, but yeah, man, I'll upload it and I'll text you a link, and yeah, let's loosely plan for a January episode, and then see if we can get this. Now, you said if people go to phasertv.com right now, they can actually like do. Is there any way you can like track? Is there like, can you gauge like audience visits or anything? Is there any way to just see if this podcast worked and we put a link? I'll put a link in the description and sticky in the top comment. If people click on it, is there any way to even register that like people are visiting? Like,
If you gave me maybe, I don't know, an hour before putting it up, maybe a little bit longer, maybe put it up later tonight. I don't know, but I'll put something up where, hey, we're almost there. We just,
yeah,
whatever.
no,
And I'll connect it to an analytic solution that's not Google.
yeah, no. I mean, personally, I don't give a fuck. But I mean, like for me, it always helps when like even if I don't get views, one of the metrics I track for my podcast is impressions. At the very least, like I know it got on someone's screen. And for me, it's like a little mental boost. I'm like, okay. Even if the average watch time is 4 seconds, I'm like, I know someone looked at the link and I know it got 10 views. Okay, at least I'm moving in the right direction, because the wrong direction is no views. So that's what I mean. It's just something for you to go, okay, 10 unique visitors today, 1,000 unique visitors, even if there's nothing to offer, just I mean, for you, that's like a little mental tool I use. I don't know if it would help you personally. I don't
No,
care.
I love it. Just give me like an hour or so to put like a a basic thing up there where we can grab um, analytics data and we can grab if they want to sign up, their email, and then we can then work on, eventually putting like a donate button maybe this weekend or something like that. It's Christmas, goodness, but like in the next few days, and then we can go from there definitely. And yeah, just give me a few minutes, and then I'll have all that set up.
No rush, man. It's up to you. It's just yeah, let's get this ball rolling and yeah. I mean, I figure if this I think I really truly believe anything is possible now because I started this podcast with my friend Duran and us talking about Cthulhu, episode 1, 0 subscribers. And then I had on one of 4 living humans that walked on the moon. So like I'm feeling like anything can happen now. So that's my mindset. So let's fuck yeah, let's do this thing, man. Anyways, good talking to Will, good meeting you. I will text you the link and I respect the energy, man. Let's get this thing going. It's a good and righteous fight, and people vibe with it, man. It's for everyone that openly talks about how shitty Google is. There's 100 more that are thinking it. So there's a reason why BitChute and Rumble are working right now. There's a reason why Parler is working right now. There's a reason why the Donald.win is in like the top 400 websites in the United States and top 3,000 in the world, and it's like a year and change old.
That's the reason why PhaserTV is in the word.
Yeah, it really? Hell yeah. Is yeah. Hell yeah. That's why it's gonna fucking work, man. Because that's the other thing is all these legacy systems that are censoring everyone. One thing they're also censoring is people talking about how everyone hates their censorship. So if you're going, I hate Google's censorship, but no one else really talks about it. No, everyone's talking about it, but guess what? That's being censored too. So it's no one knows that everyone is, what's that quote? We'll end with this. No one raindrop thinks it's responsible for the flood. So everyone listening, you are a raindrop. So fucking stand up, act. At the very least, just go click on a link, and let's fucking do this thing, man.
Yeah, definitely.
Hell yeah, Will. Well, Merry Christmas, my friend. Happy New Year's. I will send you the link when it's up, and post it on the Donald. And for everyone on Reddit, I'm permaban, so go post it there. Let's get this ball rolling, man.
All right.
Good
Merry
talking
Christmas.
to you, buddy. Merry Christmas to you as well.
Thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah, dude, thanks for coming on, man. It was good. It's hey, again, this is how this started. Was just someone coming on so I could start talking. Hey, the gratitude's all mine, man. Thanks for coming on.
Cool.
All right, buddy. Take it easy.